right, we are on the calculator intensive multiple choice questions, and you guys have seen questions like these before that they say calculator intensive, and then a lot of times you don't need your calculator for it. So let's see how many of those we can find. First problem is going to be a separate integrate solve. So dy dx equals rad y times 1 plus x. So when I separate, I get dy over rad y equals 1 plus x dx. So then my next step is to integrate. So y to the negative 1/2 goes up to y to the 1/2, and you want to divide it by the new degree of 1/2, so that's multiplying by 2. So this really integrates to 2 rad y, which will equal x plus x squared over 2 plus c. And they say, okay, if y of 0 equals 0, then what's y of 4? Well, if y of 0 equals 0, that means if I plug in x equals 0 and y equals 0, I can find out that c is 0. I'm just going to erase that c that doesn't make a difference anymore. And now I need to know what y of 4 is. So I am going to plug in x equals 4. And frankly, I probably should be solving for y first, but I'm going to take a quick shortcut since this is multiple choice and not worry about it. So I'm just plugging in x equals 4. So x squared over 2 when x is 4, that'll be 8. So I have rad y equals 12, and now I divide by 2. So rad y equals 6, square both sides of the equation, and my answer is C. So the next one says, which of the following could have this differential equation? Well, the hallmark of this, it looks like it's going to be some sort of exponential decay, but what you need to know is you need to find a differential equation where the slope at some positive y value here is 0. And they're giving us the range. This is -3 to 3. So that's probably around y equals 2. So if you go ahead and look over here, you'll see that the slope, if y equals 2, y prime will be 0 for this equation. So that would be E is the answer. And then last, this is another one that we're going to do separate, integrate, solve. And I'm going to be honest, this is not something that we focus on in this class because Algebra 2 no longer focuses on conics. So I'm not too worried if you don't recognize this one. But let's first separate. We multiply by y and we multiply by dx. Then we integrate. And regardless of what else happens, I know that if I add x squared to both sides, I have an x squared plus a y squared. So let me just do that really quickly. And maybe some of you will see what's going on here. I have x squared minus x plus y squared over 2 equals some constant c. The fact that both my x and y values are squared means, and positive by the way, they're both positive. Both squared and positive means I either have a circle or an ellipse. If one were positive and one were negative, I would have a hyperbola. If only one were squared, it would be a parabola. If neither were squared, it would be a line. The reason why this guy is an ellipse is that my denominator on the x is 1 and on the y is 2. So it can't be a circle because they would have the same denominator.